Was the Richmond race in the NASCAR Cup Series this past weekend the best short track race we've seen this year outside of North Wilkesboro and outside of Bowman Gray? According to the fans, yes. My name is John, the Motorsports Enthusiast, and I talk about all things motorsports. And today we're talking about the NASCAR Cup Series at Richmond. And according to the Jeff Gluck poll, 83% of fans, according to the 23,000 that voted, pretty good sample size there, voted that this was a great race. Yes, it was a good race, and 16.9% said no, it was a bad race. I'm on the 83% side. I think it was a phenomenal race. Here's why. Number one, the tires. The tires made this race what it was. You had fall off. You had chunks of tire just flying all over the track, which means you had to pit more often. Also, I want to mention the tire allocation that they gave these teams, I thought was perfect. There were some teams lobbying for more tires. I don't think we needed more tires. I think the tires that they had, the amount of sets was perfect because it really made teams think about, okay, what do we need to do from a strategy perspective? And that's number two of why I think this race was so great. The strategies. You saw Ryan Preece going off strategy early, pitting early. You saw other teams going for a two-stop in the last stint versus a three-stop. That's Austin Dillon versus Carson Hocevar. You saw the difference between even how like 5 laps or 10 laps on fresher tires made the difference when trying to get around people on this track. And I think that made this race absolutely phenomenal. And I love seeing the strategy. Now, a lot of people are saying that the last 50 laps was a snooze fest. I don't know how you can think that the last 50 laps was a snooze fest. Yes, there wasn't any carnage and there was not a ton of passing going on, but you had the chase between Alex Bowman and Austin Dillon. And Alex Bowman possibly could have caught Austin Dillon. He was the fastest car on the track, Bowman was the last handful of laps if he didn't get caught up in traffic. I think the last 50 laps was a phenomenal race, and seeing that gap dwindle down to almost 2 seconds was awesome to see. And it just showed you the difference between 4 or 5 laps on tires. Austin Dillon had 4-lap older tires than Alex Bowman did, and how the cars changed over the race. And that's the third thing. Seeing how this race evolved and seeing the different lines, seeing how drivers like SVG were going all the way up to the top. Also, let's mention SVG ties his best oval finish of 14th. He can drive ovals, people. Now, I don't know. You still may want to hate him because he's a Kiwi. No, he is not Australian, people. He is from New Zealand, and he can't drive on ovals. I don't know. He finished 14th at Richmond. Probably one of the most difficult tracks to finish for a new driver. And it's his first time being there, folks. First time. Give him some credit here. Either way, you saw SVG going up in the high line. You saw Kyle Busch going in the high line. You saw drivers diamonding the corner. You saw drivers going all the way to the yellow line and just wrapping the bottom. This race had so many different lines, and it made it exciting to see what cars and drivers would do on different tire strategies. I mean, I think that was phenomenal. Also, I want to talk about the winner, Austin Dillon. I think it's good for the sport to see a driver that doesn't typically get to victory lane often be up there in victory lane. The reason why is because parity in the sport. Regardless of what people say, I think this car can deliver multiple different winners and winners that we typically don't see. Now, a lot of people are going to think, oh, SVG is a fluke because he's just so good on road courses. Oh, Austin Dillon is a fluke. Those are not fluke wins. Austin Dillon won last year. He did win the race. I mean, technically, historically, it'll show in the winning column that he won that race. But this year he won fair and square. And that team and that driver put on a heck of a show. And you got to give credit to where credit's due, regardless of whether you think Austin Dillon is a Nepo baby or not. Doesn't matter. So I think that was cool to see him to kind of redeem himself, even though some people think it wasn't redemption, but whatever, those people can kick rocks. Either way, I think it was redemption coming back and winning fair and square for that team, for that driver. Now he's locked into the playoffs. Also, I want to mention William Byron winning the regular season championship. That knocks it up another like 10 percentage points for me because obviously I'm a William Byron fan. You could see that right there. I love Willie B. Either way, I bet Sabrina's happy. Looking at the Gluck poll for the short tracks that have gone on this season, you have the Clash at Bowman Gray. They got an 86.1% yes rate, with the North Wilkesboro also rates at 83.8, and you had Richmond at 83.1. The next short track, if you want to go down, was technically Dover, 55.3, Martinsville, 50.9, Iowa, 46.8, and Bristol, 20.1. So out of the point-paying races, yes, this was the best short track race of the season. And a lot of people are disagreeing, but this might be one of the best races we've seen all season. I think it classifies as one of the best ones we've seen. We saw green flag runs. We saw cautions. We saw tire wear. We saw multi-line racing. We saw passing. We saw penalties. We saw some parity with who was up front winning and who won the race. What more could you ask for? I mean, really, what more could you ask for in this race. And also in the last portion, you had strategy, and you also had a driver that was chasing another driver and was faster than the leader, could have very well caught him. So I think this was one of the best short track races we've seen all season. I still think it was one of the best races we've seen all season. I mean, looking at the top 10 races right now, Michigan sits at top at number 1 at 92.2. Atlanta, the second race, at 90.5. Charlotte, 90.2. Las Vegas 1, 87.2. Coda, 86.7. Then the Clash, then North Wilkesboro, then Homestead. Then you have Richmond there and Atlanta 1. So I still think it was one of the best races of the season. Let me know your thoughts on the race and if you thought that this was a good race or not and why. And we go to Daytona. It's going to be a crazy one. I think we could see a very big surprise winner this weekend. Let me know who your pick is for Daytona as well. And if you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe to join the Motorsport Enthusiast family and all the people that follow me and communicate with me here on social, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, doesn't matter what it is. I put content out all over the place and want to focus more on long-form content just like this so you can get more of my thoughts, more of my opinions, and more talking points that we can discuss. So make sure to tune into my Motorsports Anonymous show on Wednesday, live stream on Thursday, and my track record betting and pick show on Friday. I'm going to go get some more coffee because I need it. Ciao.